Helsinki is a city caught between the past and the present. Look around and you see a strange duality. There are Russian statues across the city while Finnish flags now flutter under NATO. This contrast tells the story of Finland and Russia. For more than 200 years, these two neighbors have been bound by history, war, and an uneasy peace. Finland was once the Grand Duchy under the Russian Tsars. Then it was a stubborn David fighting the Soviet Goliath. And then for decades, a neutral buffer between the East and the West. But in 2022, the story changed again. Russia invaded Ukraine and Finland's era of neutrality ended overnight. In this special report, we trace the history Finland shares with Russia and what it means today. It's a damp Sunday in Helsinki. A tiny crowd has gathered at Senate Square. This is the heart of the Finnish capital, a gleaming white cathedral atop a hill, and a towering statue in front of it. This square is a relic from a different era, of a time when Finland was part of the Russian Empire. And the statue? It's not a Finnish king or prime minister. It's Tsar Alexander, the second emperor of Russia. Many Finns consider Tsar Alexander to be a liberal ruler. It was under him that they received their first taste of reforms and autonomy. But you can't deny the irony of the scene behind me. A Russian Tsar standing tall in the middle of Helsinki, looking over dozens of Finns. They don't seem to have a problem with Alexander, but I doubt they have a similar warmth for the current ruler of Russia. In the 1800s, Finland was a Grand Duchy of Russia, sort of like a protectorate or client state. It was during this time that Helsinki became Finland's capital. As you walk around, the Russian influence is unmistakable. The symmetry, the scale, the slopes, all of it reminds you of Russia's imperial capital, St. Petersburg. Russian rule also triggered a renaissance of faith, especially Orthodox Christianity. The Tsar soldiers and Russian migrants needed places to worship. Thus, in the 1800s, a number of Orthodox churches popped up. The Uspensky Cathedral is a relic of that time. You look at the red bricks, the golden crosses, the onion domes, and the Russian influence is apparent. This cathedral was built on the orders of Tsar Alexander II. It was built by a Russian church architect for the Orthodox parish of Helsinki way back in 1868. Even today, it is the largest Orthodox cathedral in Northern and Western Europe, a relic of Russia's spiritual and strategic influence over Finland. Russian rule was not all that bad. Many Finns consider it to be a period of prosperity. No war, no crises, and growing wealth. But beneath the surface, trouble was brewing. In the 20th century, a communist revolution swept through Russia. The Tsar and his family were killed. Seizing on this opportunity, the Finns declared independence. In the winter of 1917, Russia's new leader, Vladimir Lenin, recognized Finnish statehood. But Lenin's successor had other plans. Joseph Stalin lived in paranoia about Nazi Germany. He felt his western flank was vulnerable. He wanted more land to protect St. Petersburg from Hitler's army. And for that, he turned to Finland. Stalin asked Helsinki to cede land to the southeast. When they refused, war broke out.
He matched the Soviet army of 15 millions against Finland's 30,000.
The tiny Finnish army landed heavy blows on the Soviets.
Finland's example has given fresh inspiration to the little nations of the world.
But eventually, Moscow's might prevailed. After 3 months of fighting, both sides signed a peace treaty. Finland ceded 9% of its land to Russia. That war shook up the Finns. Helsinki decided it was time to pursue neutrality, to build bridges to the east and west. This decision characterized almost 75 years of Finnish policy. They walked on eggshells to not antagonize Russia. But a few years ago, everything changed. Until 2022, this station connected Finland to its old imperial capital, St. Petersburg. You could board a train here, travel east, and reach St. Petersburg in 3.5 hours. But now that railway line to the east lies unused. A service that was used by 500,000 people every year was cut after Russia invaded Ukraine. a literal break in ties and bonds that go back more than 2 centuries. Russia was once Finland's master. Now a Ukrainian flag flutters over Helsinki. Within months of the invasion, Finland applied to join NATO. In 2023, they officially entered the alliance, thus ending more than 7 decades of military neutrality. Today, Finland is NATO's listening post. A 2-hour drive from Helsinki will take you to the alliance's front line. 1,340 kilometers of tension, military drills, and animosity.
EIT on a vehicle! Hey!
It tells you how dramatic Finland's journey has been. A Grand Duchy of Russia, a victim of Russian aggression, a proud flag bearer of neutrality, and now a frontline NATO state against Russia. Finland's story sums up an old political truth. Nothing is permanent in this world, not rivalries, not alliances, and not friendships.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all 3 just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.